Welcome back to the shop. I'm starting a new video series called, now I'm going to be calling Up to Speed, which is where I'll take a bike, either a customer's bike or maybe even some of my own personal bikes, and get them up to speed. Meaning the bike doesn't need one specific repair, but it needs several things to get the bike track ready. A good rideable bike where everything's addressed and the bike is up to speed. Some of these bikes will have multiple videos, meaning it'll be a series, or some of the bikes like this YZ250 right here, I believe I'm going to be able to cover everything this bike needs in one video, which I plan on doing this probably next week for this bike. It doesn't need anything major done, but like the valves checked, the front brake needs to be fixed. Someone put the wrong brake cylinder on it, so we're going to take care of that. Check the rear wheel and rear sprocket. He says it has a wobble or whatever, so that's the stuff we're going to be doing, and looking over everything on the bike and make sure the bike is up to speed for the owner. Come on, Beavis, so he can put the bike on the track. Come on, Beavis. But by now, I'm sure all you guys are familiar with my YZ250 two-stroke right here, the 2018. This is bike pretty much has started my channel, and I've been looking forward to updating to a newer model bike. As I mentioned in some of my videos, I was going to use the money that I make off this channel, because this channel is monetized, and I have all the monthly payments going into a savings account. And I told myself, when I finally get enough money for a brand new bike, I'm going to go out and buy me a brand new bike to kind of pay for the efforts that I put into this channel and just the time and stuff. However, I will say, currently that account is up to $6,000. Well, it was actually up to $5,850, and I was like, well, we still got a ways to go, but we'll get there. They've been monetized for about 2 years. You know, I'm not getting rich off the channel by any means, but it does pay, and so I just put the money in a savings account, and one day I'll have enough money for a brand new bike. But I started pricing these as I'm getting close to $6,000, and I think I'm almost kind of getting there, you know, and started pricing these new bikes, and they're kind of through the roof from a dealership after you pay for the for all the taxes and the service fees or shop fees or whatever. And a YZ250 two-stroke out the door can probably start knocking on the door of $10,000, and I was like, I just can't do it yet. You know, when there's good used bikes out there that are very low hour, that like this bike, when I bought it, only had, well, he told me it had 15 hours on it, but I believe it had less than that. And you know, so I kind of said, you know, let me just do that again one more time. Let me get a good used bike and just get it up to speed. So this is going to be a series on a bike, a YZ250 two-stroke that I have brought home. I'm going to show it to you in just a second here, and I'm going to be getting that bike up to speed. Now, I will say this bike right here, after I get the other bike up to speed, I will be using this one. I'm going to dedicate it to the hare scrambles, the FTR races, you know, probably put like the bigger tank on it and all that kind of stuff. But I'm going to keep the bike around. So here you go, guys, the first bike for the Up to Speed series of videos. This is a 2022 YZ250 two-stroke. And that's good, because that's what I was looking for. One of the new model YZ250 two-strokes of 2022 to 2025 or whatever's out now. Well, because they're the same from them years. Here's a 2022. Now, as you can see, she's pretty roughed up. You know, there's a lot of blemishes in the plastic. This fender right here, I put gloves on because she is dirty right now. I'm just showing you all the flaws in her right off the top. That I'll be able to keep that one. That one's good. I think I'm just going to get a new front number plate too, a front fender for it because it's crooked. But if you haven't watched my videos on what to look for when you buy a good used bike, look down in the description. I'll have a link to that video right there. And in that video I showed you some of the stuff to look for. I just turned on my light right here. Well, we can see this shift. Look, I'm going to have to replace this foot peg. He flipped it and damaged that foot peg. He has this nice little guard on right here, but he says the bike probably has about 50 or 55 hours on it, but he's not really sure. I believe it has less than that personally, just based on what I'm seeing. Look at this. This is the original rear sprocket. There's really no wear on it. The original chain, we can see it's getting about due, but there's actually still a tad bit of life left in it. original rear tire, but it's worn. Where this guy lived, he lived a couple, like 2 miles away from a place called Willow over here in Florida, which is like a free riding area. Yeah, it's technically not legal to ride there, but people ride there all the time. And he lives 2 miles from there, so I imagine he had to ride the road to get there, and that's where that wear came from. And original front tire too. The original owner, AJ, owned the bike since he was new. Really nice guy, but you know, he's a younger guy. He's had some kids, and he you know, life happens, right? And you're young, you have kids. Sometimes you have to sell off your toys because you got to make sure your priorities are covered. And I believe that's what's going on right here. So he had to let it go. Look, I don't think this chain has ever been adjusted. I don't think the tool's ever been on this nut right here. Or there. So, you know, just stuff like that. Kickstarter, perfectly tight. So, very little foot peg wear, if any at all. The settings, adjustments, no one's ever had a tool on any of this stuff. The pipe does have a ding in it, but that's okay. We're getting this bike up to speed. So, you know how I am. I like to deck my bikes out pretty good. So we will be putting a Pro Circuit pipe and silencer on there. So I'm not worried about the scratches that are on this silencer right here. I will be replacing that panel as well. Also get a new seat. I actually like the OEM seat covers, so I'm just going to get a new OEM seat. Some of the other things I've noticed, I think the steering bearings, yeah, I think I'm going to need to do the steering bearings. And luckily I have that nice new tool to knock them out. Of course, I'm going to be putting on some V-Force 4X reeds on it. Going to be doing a top end, get a YZ250 race piston in there. Going to be modifying the head. While I have the cylinder off, I will be doing some polishing of the exhaust port and cleaning up the intake ports, but going to be modifying the head as well. Get a better gasket for this ignition cover. We're going to be covering all that in this series. This is just the introduction right here, showing you the bike and letting you know what my plans are for the bike. Of course, you know, I get a nice set of twin wall bars, a quick twist throttle, all the usual stuff. Some other things the bike needs is when he did that wheelie and said he fell off the back, you know, he broke that. So we'll be getting a new front brake lever for it. But this bike is all original, even the air filter. I've checked it. Even the air filter is original chain sprockets, tires, no stickers have ever been put on it. In my opinion, this is the way I like to get them. I would prefer to get them in a little bit better condition than this, and with less scratches and stuff. I like it when I bring them home where they're used, but I don't have to change any plastic or anything. Literally, it's like used, ridden a few times, and someone said it wasn't for them. Well, this wasn't the case. This one does have, it's going to need a little more work than that to get it to the level that I like my bikes personally, but that's okay. It's going to make for really good content. And here's the thing, I picked this bike up. Now I'm happy I bought this bike, even in the condition it's in. I'm very happy I bought it, but I'm also happy that I got it for the price that I got it for, which is $4,500. And the reason I'm happy I got it for that price is because I'm going to have to put a lot of money into it. You know, a decent amount of money. Replacing this foot peg, some of the plastic stuff, get the seat, bearings, you know. Just stuff that I would, you know, would normally not have to do if I brought home a good low-hour bike that didn't have foot peg damage or plastic wear. Tires, I expect to always have to do tires. I expect to always have to do a chain, maybe sprockets, put my own air filter on it, my own handlebars, quick twist throttle, my own graphics, all that kind of stuff. I expect to do that kind of stuff. But I typically don't expect to have to do the plastic and foot pegs. But that's okay. I got this bike for a really good price. And by the time I'm done with it, it'll probably be up to what, maybe $6,000. But that's going to be, and I'm just guesstimating here. Could come out to a little more, maybe a little less, but I don't expect to come out a whole lot less than that, but maybe a little more. But at that price, the bike is going to be as good as new, look as good as new, yet it's going to be hooked up. I'm going to have springs. That's another thing I'll be doing. I'm going to have it sprung. I'm going to start with a 5.3 in the back, 0.46 up front, and fresh suspension fluid, all that kind of stuff. I have brand new tires on it, brand new chain. I think the sprockets are still good to run for now. Of course, brand new inner tubes in it, handlebars on it, pipe silencer, all that. It's going to be a track bike. It's going to be ready to go, and as the video series is called, it's going to be up to speed. Now, I would start it up for you, but I got to be quite honest with you. That's the original air filter. It's never been cleaned before. I pulled the air filter off, and soot was already making it up into the intake boot here. Not quite sand, not quite grit, but definitely soot. And I just don't want to run it anymore until I get all that cleaned out. And to be quite honest with you, I'm not going to be starting up anymore at all until I at least get a brand new piston in it, fresh piston in it, and clean up that intake track with a brand new air filter, nice and oiled and ready to go. But I did test ride it while I was at his house and went through all 5 gears. It did that just fine. It sounds like a new bike, I have to be honest with you. It feels like a new bike. The Kickstarter's nice and tight. It was kind of strange to ride a bike in the grass with the bald tire. I haven't ridden a bike with a bald tire in years, and I was amazed at how you can barely even get in the throttle and the thing would just peel out. It's pretty crazy. I guess knobbies do really work, don't they, when you have them? But yeah, so with $5,850 in my savings account from the YouTube channel, thank you guys. I appreciate all you guys that watch these videos, because it's thanks to you guys I was able to go out and get this nice used bike. And but that left me with $1,350 because I picked the bike up for $45. So with that $1,350, I will start ordering parts for it, the things that we need, and get as much as I can and get started on it. And then by next month, when I get paid by the channel again, I'll get more parts. I don't expect to use any of my own money on this bike. It's going to all be from the monetization from this channel. We'll buy everything I need for this bike and get it up to speed. And so we're going to have several videos on this bike. I don't know how many. If you don't remember when I did that for my 125, which I'll actually put a link to that series down in the description if you're interested in it, where I got that bike up to speed. But this bike right here, if you don't remember, it took probably, I'm going to say 7 videos, and that's including when I took it to the track, maybe 8. But I always end it with taking it to the track. You're going to watch me do all the work to it, and each video is going to be several things that I've done to it. And then you're going to get to watch me take it to the track. We're going to go to the track together, GoPro on, and we're going to test it out for the first time, make some changes to it, and whatever it needs done, dial in the suspension. If we need to make any carburetor adjustments or anything, we're going to address all that on the final video when we finally get to take it out to the track for the first ride. Now, because this series will be a up to speed video, it's not going to be so much of a step by step. What I mean by that is, like when I do a top end on a bike, if you watch any of my top end videos, I put them videos together so you can watch that video and do the top end yourself and go step by step to get through the job. When I go to do the top end on this bike, it won't be a step by step. I'm just going to show you highlights as I go through the job. Like when I go to do the cylinder porting, what I find when I get in there, how everything looked, and starting her up at the end. Because I already have a video on doing a top end on a YZ250 that covers the step by step. So I really don't want to waste your time. I want to keep this entertaining but informative, and hopefully you learn something, some tips and tricks and things like that along the way. However, because it won't be a step by step for things like the top end, for any part that I don't do a step by step on, I will provide a link in the description to the video where I have done the job before on a different bike and have a step by step for you guys that run or watching this, and you see, well, he's doing a top end, and oh wow, he just missed a whole bunch of steps. What's going on? Now I won't know how to do it myself. Well, there'll be a link in the description on every video for every part of the job that I do to help you get, that I can provide to help you get through the job. Look at that clutch cover, just a little scratch right there. That's all. She's a diamond in the rough, I gotta tell you, and I'm really excited about this one. It's gonna make for really good content, and it's gonna make for a really nice bike when it's all done. I'm gonna really enjoy this. Once again, I want to say thank you to all you guys. It's a lot of work putting these videos together, but it does pay in the end. And I'm putting in the work, but well, here's a payment right here, and it's thanks to you guys that watch these videos, and I really appreciate it. I hope I'm doing you guys a service, and I hope these videos are good for you, helping you get to your jobs and maybe learning tips and tricks and things. And in return, I have a nice 2022 here to get up to speed and take out and ride and put a ton of hours on her. But it's going to take probably about 2 months for me to get that bike fully up to speed and ready to go. So in the meanwhile, I'll keep enjoying my 2018 here. She's all set up. She feels great. And she's still healthy. I'll keep cranking on the hours. But as you know, YouTube only allows you to put so many words in the description, right? I don't want to have to write up to speed in every up to speed video series I do. So I will just be putting it on the thumbnail to the video. You'll see, like, this video is going to say YZ250 up to speed, and then it'll say if it's part 1, 2, or 3, and that will be in the thumbnail, so you'll know what video that is. And then of course I will put in the description as much as I can fit of what that video is going to contain. But that's pretty much a wrap for this video. Man, I'm really excited about this, and I hope I put some really good content together for you guys. This weekend, I will be riding Moto Bros Okeechobee. I'm going to be taking out my YZ125. That bike's always so much fun. I love riding that bike. I can't get enough of her. Going to take her out there. That's an awesome track. And as you know, I always hope you guys have a great weekend of riding. Once again, thank you. And also, thank you, AJ, for this beautiful bike. She's going to be put to use, and I hope you enjoyed the videos as well. Hope you get another bike in the near future, and see you out there too. Hope you guys have a great weekend of riding, and hope to see you out there. Catch you next time.